this fall 2025, Frederick, with a GPA of 2.5, will start his master's in information and communication sciences at Ball State University. He was given a graduate assistantship which covers his tuition and also provide him with stipends. So it is not just about the GPA, it is about what you do with what you have. The GPA is very helpful, but there is more to a good application. Now, here is the truth. If you have a low GPA, you can still get good funding to come to the US, but you have to do the right things. You have to put in a lot of work. It's about crafting a statement of purpose that tells your story. It's about building a resume that aligns your academic and career experiences. It's about getting strong recommendation letters. It's about doing an evaluation depending on your situation. It's about taking the GRE depending on your program of interest and your GPA. It's about taking the SAT if you want a full undergraduate scholarship. It's about applying to the right schools based on your background and academic credentials. In my one-on-one visa interview coaching program, I have come across students who told me they applied to schools I recommended and they got full funding to start this fall 2025. One of those students even told me that she went for the visa interview a year ago and she was denied because she didn't have any funding. And so she went through the list I suggested and she applied to two of them or so, and now she has full funding to come to the US. The study abroad process is also about doing the right research, even if it means sleepless nights. It's about starting the process early and submitting your best work. I have a lot of great videos to help you get started on this channel. I like to push students to give their best because funding is very competitive. Any scholarship that is automatic is a small amount. Good funding requires you to submit an application that stands out. For your application to stand out, you have to treat the whole process seriously. I am not here to lie to you or sugarcoat anything so that you will like me. I am here to tell you what works and how to avoid wasting money, energy, and time. I don't want anyone coming to the US and suffering, especially if your family isn't rich. That is why I try to provide you with all the right information to help you get good funding and help you pass your visa interview. Everything in life requires work. The more work you put into the process, the greater the reward on your investment. There are no shortcuts in life, just smart, consistent effort. So if you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel so that you get all the reliable information that can make your dreams come true. Also, check out my ShaiPod channel, which is my podcast where I interview international students about their journeys from admissions to life abroad. I do my best to ask them the questions you want answers to. I've also created WhatsApp groups where you can connect with other students who are also on their study abroad journey. Many of them are happy to share insights and answer questions based on their experience. I also have a Telegram group where I give students the opportunity for free mock interviews on my YouTube channel. You just have to be in the Telegram group, and when I request for details, you just have to send the details to me or to my assistant. All right, now it's time for us to kick off today's live session. Drop your questions in the chat. Tell me where you're watching this from and share the live session with a friend who needs this. I will also appreciate it if you give this live session a like. It helps the channel a lot. Hi guys, welcome to another live session. So starting from today, we are going to be doing study abroad live sessions. Like I told you last week, basically what I want to do is make normal videos, give you all the information you need, and then when we do the live session, kind of explain everything that you may have found difficult, right, in the process. So that way we don't have to spend too much time here, right? I don't want people to spend too much data, right? So on Friday, I believe I posted a video about the difference between the SOP and then the personal statement. That video is very important. If you haven't watched it, you want to pay attention to that video because I put in so much information and it took me a lot of research actually, because I personally I was combining the elements, right? But there is actually, you don't have to combine the elements. So you want to watch that video. It is an important video. It's going to help you. It's going to give you a lot of information. If you have been trying and things haven't worked out, you may want to check the video and other videos on the channel as well. I've made a lot of videos actually. And the plan going forward is to, suggest schools to you. In the video I mentioned that I have done a lot of mock interviews in the last few months, and so I've come across so many schools. And I'm going to recommend these schools based on offers. So any school where the deficit is more than 10,000, I'm not likely to recommend that school. So my goal is to recommend schools that give students full funding or full scholarship, and or with a small deficit of less than 10,000. That's the goal. And I'm going to recommend a lot of schools for all kinds of programs. So you want to be on the lookout for that video when they come out, for those videos when they come out. So before I start answering your questions, I will really appreciate it if you tell me where you are watching this from, and give it a like as well. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. So I am going to try as much as possible to give you detailed answers. Sometimes, if let's say you are trying to apply to a school and then you encounter some challenges, let's say in the application process, there is something you don't know how to do it, or you don't know how to fill the form or something. With this live session, I get to go into the application myself and try to, help out in a way. Not like use your login details, but then kind of try to do it on my own. Like if I have to create an account, if I have to show you exactly what you need to do in all of that, then so that's the plan. I hope this is, helpful to you guys. That's what I'm trying to do. The process is really simple. You just, but sometimes some things may not be clear, and that is why I'm here. That is why I'm going to be doing this. Okay, going forward. So, Victory, Enoch, and then Recap Realm. Hi. So then we have Joshua. Then we have Nana. So Emmanuel says, "Hey Shai, it's Emmanuel. How you doing today? Kindly check your DM after I have an update for you." I don't know what you mean by DM. I sometimes when I tell students that I'm busy, they don't understand. I am so busy, more than you can even imagine. The people who are in the US who don't even do study abroad videos, they are so busy. How much more me, who is doing study abroad videos, who is working on his dissertation and a whole lot of things. So I don't know exactly which DM you're referring to, because I don't have access to a lot of these things, right? This is the time that you can ask me any question. This is the only time. So the other platforms, I'm not really active. Some of them, some of my videos, some people might even think I'm awake. I actually schedule my videos, and so my videos are posted while I'm asleep, that kind of thing. So yeah, if you have any question, this is the time for you to ask your question. Okay, Emmanuel. Uh, Victory says you've been denied twice this year with 32K deficit, no funding. Now you've applied to another school, deficit of 29K. Your sister is a US citizen and she's the one funding your education. What can you change this time around? So this is where I have to be a little brutal. Okay, you have to get funding to come. You've been denied twice. Going with your sister again is not going to help. The fact that your deficit has been reduced by $3,000 doesn't mean anything. It's not really going to help you. The US system is such that nobody is going to spend money on you like that. Your sister that you are claiming that she's going to sponsor your studies, when you come, she's not going to spend $29,000 on you. She wouldn't do that. It's so much money for her to spend that much on you. So the visa officer is not going to believe that your sister is going to spend that much on you. Forget about that. Get funding. That's what I can tell you. This is your best shot. If you keep going, you are going to be denied again. And if you think getting funding is difficult, then you probably don't want to be in the process, because when you come to the US, you're also coming to study as a student. So then you have to start now, right? Everything that is good in life requires a lot of work. You have to put in the work. If you can't put in the work, you can't get anything in life, or anything out of life. Sometimes you just have to know where you come from. If you are from a poor home, right, like all of us, most of us, it just means that your family, they are poor not because they chose to be poor. They are poor because of maybe being too comfortable with being poor, not putting what I'm saying is, I'm not referring to you, I'm referring to myself, and anyone who is willing to take responsibility for their lives, right? So you have to know where you come from, and then that should force you to work hard. You cannot do the same thing that a rich person does. No, you have to do double or three times that if you really want to make progress in life. That is how cruel life is. It's life is cruel, and if you don't put in so much work, you are not going to get anything. So that's what I can tell you about this. Where I am. So Emmanuel, thank you. Sometimes I want to put my cap on, right? But Mohammed, how long does the West evaluation takes after document submission? So if you have submitted all the documents, it wouldn't take long. I mean, it's difficult for me to say how long it takes because everybody's own is different. I did my West in 2016 and haven't done West evaluation again. But based on what I've heard from other people, yeah, sometimes maybe 2 weeks, 1 month, or something. It depends, and it also depends on if you've submitted everything that they ask you to, right? So it depends, but there is still time, so you don't have to worry about how long it's going to take and all of that. Now your job is to work on your application materials. The evaluation, once you've paid for it, you've done everything. Yeah, they will get back to you very soon. So don't worry about that one. So Emmanuel is watching me from Athens. Okay, Emmanuel. Um, So Emmanuel, okay, so Emmanuel, you are the Emmanuel that I coached, right? That who got his visa approved to do tourism. So yeah, Emmanuel, you have my number, right? So I don't know if you are referring to my WhatsApp, right? You have my WhatsApp number, so I don't know if that is. I haven't checked my WhatsApp in a while. I'm I'm very busy, you guys. So yeah, if you send it on WhatsApp, then I'll check it after this live session. So Kehinde from Nigeria, Maya from Ghana, Rosalind. Excited to be here. Excited to see you, Rosalind. Mayode, Shai, I'm watching from Nigeria. I want to go for masters in chemical engineering and I do not have GRE or WES evaluation. So everything in the application process, they can be helpful, but they are not required, right? If the school you're applying to doesn't require the GRE, then you don't have to take it, especially if your GPA is good. So sometimes you have to look at your GPA. How good is that, right? And the evaluation, if the school doesn't require evaluation, you don't have to. Just that if you have evaluation, it can help. If you have, because evaluation enlarges the pool of schools that you can apply to, right? So that's one thing. And also the GRE will make your application more competitive, right? But people still get full funding without any of those things. So when I was coming, I didn't have the GRE, but I did evaluation. The evaluation was not even important because I ended up at Ohio University and they didn't require evaluation. So in a way, you can say I wasted money, but no, in the process, you have to invest, right? And yeah, it is what it is. Okay. Um. So Mayode, so I'm going to recommend some engineering programs as well. Okay, engineering programs that give good funding, so that you check them out. Okay, so just watch out for those videos. Now, the other thing about recommending schools is that it is when I recommend them, it means they are going to be competitive. So my thing is not really. I would prefer not to recommend schools because once you learn how the process works, you are going to find the schools yourself. That way, you're likely going to compete with a few students. But if it is recommended on YouTube by a study abroad creator, then it's going to be very competitive. You're going to compete with so many people, and that may not be ideal. At the same time, when I make those videos, it can guide you that okay, these schools have been recommended, so then I probably don't have to apply to all of them, maybe one or two of them, and then focus on other schools as well. So in a way, when I recommend them, you still have to watch them, right? So yeah, but you want to spend more time on the schools that are not recommended to you on YouTube. That is the best option. So that's why you have to learn how the process works so that you can do it on your own. A lot of people, they just go on YouTube, and then once they see a video with you know for scholarship and all these things, then they are quick to apply. The study abroad creator is trying to do his best for you in a way, trying to recommend schools for you, but you have to still go and do your work. You have to do your own research. When a school is recommended to you, that doesn't mean anything. You still have to go and do your work and make sure everything is fine before you go ahead and submit an application. So this is very important. Um, so technical says, can you elaborate on what's the difference between an official transcript and an unofficial transcript? Official transcripts is just a transcript which has not been interfered with by the student. So official means that either you submit it to the school in a sealed envelope, so you haven't opened it yet, so it means it's official from the school, or the school will send the transcripts. The school that issued you with the transcript is the one sending the transcript to the school you're applying to, which means that you don't interfere with it. Unofficial is where you request for the transcript from your school, the school you completed. So you request for the transcript and then you scan it. Once you open that envelope containing the transcript no longer becomes official. So while the transcript is in a sealed envelope with the stamp of the school, it is official. As soon as you open the transcript, you open the envelope, it becomes unofficial. I hope this is clear. Okay, so a lot of schools they require you to submit the unofficial. So you go for your own transcript, you scan it and you upload it. But then after you are given admission and or funding, the school will now request for the official one. For a lot of schools, they will even ask you to come to the US with the official one in a sealed envelope. And then when you come, you give it to the international office or the graduate school for them to verify that what you submitted online and what you are presenting to them are the same. So that is official and unofficial. I hope this is clear. Where else am I? So Toby says, good evening. Please, I learned most schools do not have funding for graduate assistantship. Please, do you still think it's possible to get full funding? This fall, there are so many students who were given full funding and they are here in the US. So many students, and that is why I said I'm going to make videos and recommend schools, because these schools are schools that gave funding to students. Right? Like I told you, I did a lot of mock interviews, private mock, YouTube mocks and all of that, and I came across a lot of offers. So I'm going to recommend these to you. There are so many people who came with good funding. So when you hear those things, don't pay attention to them. You have to focus on yourself. Somebody will apply and not get any funding, and the person will say, "Oh, there are no funding." No, 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 no. Everybody's application is different. You have to submit a good application. You are going to get funding. You have to do your research as well. Okay, this is very important. Um, Rosemary. Okay, before I get there, Maya says, "How is a paid scholarship coaching done?" I'm not too sure paid scholarships. So I don't know if you are referring to the mentorship program, the study abroad mentorship program that I wanted to do. I decided to cancel it after, I don't know, some few days or so, because I realized that I wouldn't have the time to do it. It's a lot of work there. I was going to charge, $200 to make sure to help students with everything, SOP, resume, if they have to go through an interview, graduate assistantship interview, help, like, take a look at their cold emails before, make sure they are fine before they submit, help them in the selection of the schools, like have a quick glance of the application before they submit, like those things I wanted to do them, like, but when I look at the time, I realize that yeah, I have so many things going on this fall, so I wouldn't be able to. So I'm not doing any coaching. I'm not coaching anybody. The only coaching I do now is still the visa interview. But yeah, that's all I am doing right now. Okay, but I'm going to provide you with a lot of information, so you can actually do it on your own. And there are a lot of information on my channel. So yeah, and also on the ShaiPod, I do a lot of interviews, and you can actually hear from other people. It's not everything that I know. So when I interview some of these people, you can also gain insights, additional insights from some of these people. So that's why it always helps to watch those videos as well. Swadik from Ghana. Gifty says, I apply for biology, and usually you are required to contact a potential faculty before you apply, no matter how many times and normal eye contact. I get no response. So when you say usually they are requiring you to contact a faculty, I'm not too sure if they require you to contact a faculty. So there are two options here. One is that maybe there is an issue with your email. Maybe your email, maybe they don't think you are a good fit. The people you've been contacting, maybe if your email is not good enough, or maybe you are not really clear about why you want to work with them and stuff like that. The other thing is that, in my opinion, if you are required to contact your professor before you are giving funding, the professors will be aware of this and they are likely to respond to your email. So that's the thing. Check the video that I posted on Friday about SOP and personal statements. You're going to get a lot of information from that. Then that will tell you what you need to know, what you need to know, and what you need to do. Okay. So you want to check that video out. Okay. So Toby says, and also please, I am up. You want to apply through so fast. West evaluation is required, and you already have a Canadian West. You're confused if you can use that or you need to do US West. Yeah, so the Canadian West and the US West, they are all West, but I don't know. For me, I haven't done that before, so I don't know if there is a significant difference between the two. So you want to reach out to the school, your department, and then let them know this is what you have. Is it equivalent? Will they accept it? That is, if anybody tells you you can use it, you could be wrong. So when it comes to things like this, you want to reach out to the coordinator of the program. That the program requires West, US West, but I have Canadian West. That will that work? If they say it works, then fine. You can go ahead and then tell West to submit a copy to the school. Does that make sense? Okay. So Rosemary, is 6 schools too much to apply? I think with the competition and everything, 6 good schools, I think it's okay. When I was coming, I applied to 3 schools, but I think six is okay. And you have to make sure every single one of those 6 schools has funding, good funding before you apply. This is very important. And you have to work on your application materials. Okay. Daniel says, how do I get my transcript evaluator to be able to apply for institutions? So with a transcript evaluation, it's not a free service. You have to pay for it. Now, when you go on when you go to WS website, they have a free version. So the free version, you are going to enter your grades. I have a video on that. I don't know which of the videos, but I have a video on that. I have this study abroad, for beginners, video for beginners or something. I think in that video you are going to see a brief demonstration of how to do that. So you first of all want to use a free version and then see where your final GPA is going to be. If West improves your GPA, then you can go ahead and use it and pay for it. If not, then you probably, if so, in my case, when I did the West, there was no difference because I was at 3.8 and I got 3.8 back. So West didn't help me. But then for some people, let's say you are at 3.1, West can help. Or if you're at maybe 2.5 or 2.7, West can help. So you want to verify that it is going to increase it before you go ahead and pay for the West. This is very important so that you don't waste money. Okay. If your GPA is high, you probably don't need West. Okay. So it depends. Okay. Some of these things, it's not straightforward like that. Okay. All right. Where am I? So Salifu says, yeah, currently, hi Shai, with currently the 3 months visa validity rule, can someone apply for his visa early? Yeah, I got that question and I didn't know what to tell the person. So I think I would have to look at someone who was given 3 month validity and then look at the time they went for the interview and look at um the you know the visa validity so that I can the visa issue date and then the visa expiration date and compare so that I can give you a better insight. So it's something I need to check. I don't want to tell you something and then it might be wrong, right? But for me, I don't know if you have a date which is 5 months before your program start date, you probably want to reschedule it to within 3 months. If that is not possible, you should go for the interview like that. And I think when you're approved, they are going to make the issue date uh, kind of within, they are going to give you an issue date which is not going to affect you in a way. So yeah, all you need is to get into the country. After you get into the country, that's all. It doesn't matter whether the visa expires. Even if the visa expires as soon as you arrive in the country, that's all. It's fine, right? So that is how I would have to check this. I'd be meaning to ask, but I forgot. But I'll check that. Okay, so I'll get back to you on that. So Floyd and Joshua, Salifu says, for instance, if you have fall 2026 I-20 in December, can't you attend the interview in January if the class start date is yeah, that's the same thing that I was saying. I don't know, this is a new thing, so I haven't really focused on that. I haven't really spent time on that, but I'll check that and then ask me again on Sunday. Okay, let me put it down and then I'll get back to you on that next Sunday. Okay. Then Daniel says, how do I get okay, I think I've already told you the evaluation. Adibowale says, what about design program? I don't get funding from a program like this. So I'll check the list of schools and then I'll get back to you on design programs. If there are schools like that, I'll let you know. Okay. So watch out for the videos that I'm going to be making very soon. Um Victory says, within 9 K deficit, what if I'm not able to get funded? Can I transfer the funds from family to personal and keep the messages have refreshed? So now I have to go up and try to locate your message. Where is it? And keep a part of my tuition as a proof. So Victory, if you keep going, you're going to be denied again. Because right now, yeah, you've already said your sister in the US is sponsoring you, and that is not helpful. You don't want to use that. Get funding. If you can't get funding, then what makes you think when you come to the US you can survive the academic rigors of being a graduate student? I don't know if you're a graduate student, but being a graduate student, you want to get funding, at least get something good enough. You cannot rely on your sister. When you come, your sister is not going to pay your school fees. It's not going to happen. Now, I can tell you that. So, yeah, that's just the reality. Okay. If you keep doing transfer and let me, you've already said you don't have, you've already said your sister is sponsoring you. Now you're going to say you can sponsor yourself. So if you can sponsor yourself, why did you then present your sister as your sponsor in your first interview? That doesn't sound good. And also the next question is, how did you make $29,000 from your job? How did you make that money? You're going to put yourself in a mess, and that may even make it more difficult for you to be approved. Don't make more mistakes. You have to correct. The best way to get around this is get funding. So this is what some people don't want to hear, but this is you know the truth about life. You have to do the right thing. If you keep making mistakes, yeah, you are going to waste so much money. Though you don't want to be wasting money, right? You want to make sure you are spending your money well. And yeah, you can get funding if you put in the work. Okay. All right. Joshua says, you are 42 years old. You just end your 3-year HND from Accra Technical University. How can you do masters in the US? If you want to do masters in the US, you want to get a degree as well. You cannot use your HND to come to the US. You might see maybe 1 out of 50 schools which may consider the HND. But if you think about it very well, I have a degree, you have HND. What makes you think you are going to get ahead of me? What makes you, if you want funding, forget about your HND and get a degree and come. If you are a Nigerian, you clearly said you are a Ghanaian. So then if you are a Nigerian, your HND will be enough to get into a master's or PhD in the US if you are a Nigerian. If you are a Ghanaian, the story is different. So if you are a Ghanaian, get a degree. If you are a Nigerian, you can evaluate your transcript and then do a master's or PhD. Okay. So opinion says, kindly suggest schools that offer MS Mathematics and MS Statistics. My GPA is 3.2 and I'm planning to do evaluation with one of them. Okay. yeah, so don't worry, I'm going to recommend some of the schools very soon. Okay. I mean, maths programs, yes, I'm going to recommend a lot of these schools very soon. My day, some schools ask to submit a copy of the official transcript. What does that mean? If a school says you should submit official copy, it just means that you have to go to your school, the school that you completed, for them to post it to your to that particular school. That is official transcript. Or you can also go and get your transcript from your school in a sealed envelope. You don't open the envelope, and then you can mail it to yourself. Because it's in a sealed envelope from your school, it is also considered official. Okay. Either your school will do it for you or you can do it. Okay. So Coco is here. Good to see you. I'm good, Coco. How about you? So the next question is, if I want to apply for a research-based master's program and the school requires that I get a supervisor before I start the application, when can I email the advisor I want? A year earlier. Well, a year earlier is kind of probably not ideal, right? You want to wait after the application has opened, right? So if you want to come next fall, you want to wait until mid-September. I think that's when the application will open. So just under a year before, right? Under a year before the program starts today, I think. So maybe September, yeah. So then your interest is, you wanna, uh come in for 2024. You're interested in the program, you are this, and you've done some of, ABC, which is, what he's doing, and you believe you can, fit in the lab and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, I think maybe September, October should be fine. Just you have to do it before you submit the application. Get like some kind of feedback from the person, like positive feedback from the person, before you go ahead and then uh, submit an application. Salifu says, I look forward to booking a one-on-one with you. Okay, I don't know which one-on-one though. So Emmanuel, okay, Emmanuel. One of these days, Emmanuel, if you want to join me here, I mean, you can join me. Okay, when you are free. The thing is that you are going to be very busy very soon. Like when the when classes begin, you're going to be very busy. So, but Salifu says, "Hi Shai, it's a gap year automatic denial. There is a chance to navigate through, especially for bachelor's program. I learned is the biggest red flag, and there's nothing that can be done about it. If you say there is nothing that can be done about it, I don't know what you mean by nothing, because with everything there is a way. It depends on different things, because yeah, this fall there are some undergraduate students that I coached who were approved with long gap years and all that. So yeah, one of them, when he was approved, I even posted a screenshots on TikTok. The thing is, if you follow me on some of the platforms, you are going to come across a lot of these things such that you will know, you wouldn't even have to ask me some of these questions. There are a lot of things I post that if you just rely on YouTube, the thing is, it's not everything I can post on YouTube, right? So some things I may post on Instagram or TikTok, and yeah, if you follow, you will know a lot of this, or maybe I may even post on my, in my, I don't know if it's in or in my WhatsApp channel, right? So yeah, if you follow, you will come across a lot of these things, and you know what to do. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up the live session. This is always going to be very short, so um the graph says I got zero funding last year, and I used my elder brother as sponsor in my last interview, and I was denied. This year I have full tuition scholarship and I'm paying the deficit. So yeah, it depends on how much the deficit is. What is your job? What do you do? How like it's not straightforward, right? So it depends. um are you able, how did you make that money, right? What is your job? How much do you make annually for you to be able to pay your deficit? And yeah, it depends on how much the deficit is as well. So Mario says, is there a possibility of funding? I've already if the thing is, if you ask questions like this, you don't understand the process. Go and watch some of the videos that I've made. You will see, I've said this so many times, I don't recommend spring. If you want good funding, I don't recommend spring. At the same time, there are people who still get funding to come in spring. But yeah, for me, 1 out of 100 is not a good thing for me. I won't take my such a chance, right, like that. So it depends. um the grafts. I want to know what I can do different in this, since I have scholarship and enough money in my company account. So in your company account, your deficit is small, so that's a good thing. In your company account, how did you make that money? Like, whose company is it? If you have a company, why did you then present your brother? So I don't understand that. Okay. So it's been nice spending some time with you guys, and take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week. Next week, I know there is one thing I have to answer. So yeah, next week I'll try and come up with the answer. I don't know if I'll get a correct answer, but hopefully. So take care of yourselves, and see you next week. Bye bye.